says.
This is a test.
That's good. I should be able to be heard.
Yeah, make sure it's closer to you. I'm not going to say much.
Yeah. That's a good place right there, I think.
Good. This is a test of the emergency broadcasting system.
Yeah, I hope you can hear Kathy. We have to keep the heater on because we're like in the frigid.
You're not live, are you?
Yeah, we are.
What?
Yeah. Didn't I say that? Uh-oh. Well, you didn't hear any secrets, so I don't think.
No, I was just.
We don't have any secrets.
Stupid.
But, well, that might not be true. Everybody's got to have a secret, right?
We have many secrets.
Yeah. So what I was going to go into talking about today was serious, actually, because we, well, I mean serious, but in an enlightening way, you know, a major enlightening way. Probably the greatest there could be because of this audio tape that we listened to today from DO. I'm distracted because I want to go to send a message, you know, to my Facebook account. So I'm gonna just take a second here, but the screen isn't right either. So I want to fix that first. There you go. I might be working with a better connection now. I don't know. But I'm just going to take a minute now to go to the places I want to advertise to. Meanwhile, Kathy's going to tell you about her dream. No, I don't know. She wants to do that, actually. I did want to bring that up the other day because I thought it was a very interesting dream, the one with the sun.
Oh. Yeah, that was. So, since Sawyer has asked me to talk while he is setting up things, I will do that and hopefully not incur too much wrath.
Yes, I hope so.
I had that dream when we were still outside of San Antonio, because we just got outside of Austin. We've been here for 3 days now. So it was a few days ago, but not that long ago. Less than a week, I believe. Anyway, in the dream, Sawyer and I were in a house, but it was also an RV. You know how dreams are. And I think my daughter was with me, or somebody that was like my daughter, and there were like a couple of other people there as well, but not that many, like less than 5. But I was just aware of us 3, and we were sitting in like lazy boy chairs or something, or maybe there was a love seat next to us that my daughter was sitting on, and we were watching a TV. And the windows were open, and it was light outside, but the sun was setting. And I was watching, we were all watching the news or something where there was, it looked like a news, like a forecast. And there was a guy standing there on the screen, and he was talking about, what the weather was going to be or something, and they were showing a live shot outside with the sun, and it was behind this guy. And at the same time that we were all watching the TV, the windows, like I said, were open, and the TV was right in front of a window. So I could also see the sun outside of the window, right next to the TV image of the sun. While the guy was talking on the TV and through the window, I saw the sun explode. And it wasn't like this big huge ball of fire or it was just like all of a sudden it was gone, and almost like confetti came out. I don't know, in like gray smoke. It was like somebody had set off a dud firework or something. I don't know. And all of a sudden, all these notifications started popping up on the bottom of the TV screen, like people reacting, like as if our TV was connected to the internet or something. And so we were getting like all these notifications. And I don't know if I said anything to any of the people in the house, or I just went up and got outside, as I was like, did you see that? I think I said, did you see that? And I went outside to see if if that had really happened. And it was starting to all of a sudden it was dark because the sun had just exploded. And everybody else was coming out of their houses too to see what the hell had just happened. And there was this black vehicle, like I had just been telling Sawyer, we were talking about World War II and the mobile gas units that the Nazis started using initially when they were testing out if the gas would work. They used these mobile gas vehicles. If you Google it, they're pretty frightening looking. So one of those looking things were coming down the street, and I knew that wasn't good and that it was connected to the sun exploding. And there were people on the corner of the house that I was like out on the porch, and I was thinking, we need to get out of here like quickly. And that vehicle came and it stopped next to these people that were standing out on the corner, and I went inside because I didn't want to see what was going to happen, because I knew something bad was going to happen. And I went back inside, and I was like crouching down because I didn't want anybody to see us from outside into the house. And I was just about to tell Sawyer, you need to go outside and disconnect the electric so we can drive away. Like, we need to get out of here. We need to drive away right now. Because again, the house was the RV. And then I woke up.
Yeah, that was, I heard it in more detail this time.
Here, you take that.
I'm going to have to go listen to it again because I had my mind on this to see what I missed the first time when Kathy first told me about it, that experience, because I thought about it later. I mean, my first thoughts about it, I didn't know, what to make of it. But of course, because I know that we can all have lots of different kinds of dreams. But this one made more sense to me, especially now that I think of it now, actually, at this moment. Actually, there is a part of Revelation that talks about the sun heating up the planet as one of the plagues. It's one of the, you say the word plague and everybody thinks, oh, you're talking about the hocus pocus, right, of the movies. But, no, that's just an example of the influences that I hear. That I should actually just discount and keep on talking what I'm talking about. Otherwise, I lose track of where I'm going. So, but the Son, that Revelation 12, it says that the Son is the woman. And so forget about the plague. The fact is that whatever's going to happen, it doesn't make any difference to us. If we reach out to connect with the level above human, the kingdom of God, the kingdom of the heavens. So that's actually a literal connection that somebody is attempting to make by appealing to them to become a candidate for their, corporation. Because they're a corporation. But they're not just a corporation, they're the corporation. Whether there are other corporations above them, we don't know. It's like, for us to even comprehend them is like a dog actually comprehending what happens in the human kingdom. It's got that kind of a gap, except that humans have been prepared with a lot of consciousness. So do recognize the characteristics of the kingdom that created this place, created this planet and this human kingdom on it, and the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom and the mineral kingdom and the school of it. Of like 10 grades in school, and or 12 grades in school, and you're the first 6 grades you're getting into your humanness, and you could become, you're wealthy, you could, you don't have a care really for the world except for the cares that, of course, everybody has no matter what, but with health issues and stuff. But you've got enough going for you that you can, you don't have a want in the world, really. And you're certainly not, at that point, you're not looking to change that. I think I'm not speaking of you as any one person, but this is my opinion. I'm not saying I got this from Do, but then again, there's a lot they've said and done. Anyway, points in these kind of directions, but I don't know. I don't know if this is the right way to go actually at this point. So,
Why did you want me to talk about my dream?
Oh, thank you for putting me back on track.
But I am curious though. I wasn't.
Well, because I think there is a significance to dreams sometimes. And Tiendo taught that the next level, the laboratories, they actually have teams that are working with humans and giving them some of the next day lessons that they're about to get to help prepare them for what's coming. And so I don't think that was exclusive for the classroom. I know it was happening in the classroom, but I mean I with all my I feel like I know that. I don't know a lot of things, but I know that. But the
Sun exploding like confetti.
The sun exploding. I kind of dislike the whole doomsday-ishness. And there's so much flack that comes with that, and we're saturated with images of things that are like designed to make us fearful. And and yet at the same time, the next level does have things we're operating in cycles. And they did provide the lower forces by allowing dropouts that went against them to do what they wanted to do with the earth and the atmosphere around it. And and so our terminology, everything's hard to actually take seriously in some ways, I guess. I don't know. I don't know the way people, I hear the way people respond to a person like me that's talking about the experience I had with Tiendo. But, but see, I know from my own experience in the group that there were things that I accepted as logic. Sure, UFOs, okay, that makes sense. It's possible. I didn't even think possible. I thought that makes sense. Okay, because I've had that experience before. The mind with this vehicle and the soul that was associated with this vehicle had some experience with that, with the next level before. So that made sense. And that's the way it is for all of us to degrees in different areas. And regardless of what any individual has in any of these areas, that's a benefit or a little more than somebody else has. Others can have a benefit in this other area that, I just get into this thing, I can hear the thoughts of saying, oh, you're saying you're something special, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I'm just addressing that there is a reality to having something special and knowing it and not letting that become your ego, except the way that it might automatically do it in ways that are hard to identify at the time. I get little I get little flashes of things sometimes when I'm pleased with myself, and that's a part of it, I think. And we can become so pleased with ourselves, I believe, that we don't even see another way of thinking about something. And that we can't consider that other way of thinking because otherwise it would destroy the foundation of what we have put our belief in before this other form of thinking. And so I recognize that battle that goes on. I don't know. I'm probably getting off the
Maybe
the sun.
go to the chat.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you wanted. I don't know. You said something about confetti after I told you about that. When I was telling you about.
Oh, right. I said something about confetti. I'm not going to be able to pull that in now. I probably should have wrote it down. But anyway, so.
Are you gonna go to the chat?
Yeah. Thanks. Hello, my wonderful YouTube friends from Old School Dave. I can hear Miss Kathy. Daniel Mills says, good evening, all. And Old School Dave says, a little extra treat, plus plus. Yes, I think so. You all getting any snow tonight, says Old School Dave. We got a little tiny bit of sleep, that kind of like little ice crystals that were falling. But we don't know if there's anything outside right now. Right?
Yeah.
There's supposed to be a little bit, but I don't know how long it'll last on the ground because it's not been that cold here. It's only in right now. It's in the 20s maybe with the wind chill, something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So the Finch show says, "Greetings, Sawyer, Kathy, and all. Old school Dave. That's a doozy."
My dream.
Yeah, that dream was a doozy. It sure was. And I'm gonna probably take it apart and put some interpretations on it. I don't know what I'll do. Maybe nothing.
It's
Hello,
30.
Dawn Possession.
Yeah, I like how they said
Evening.
hi to you and not to me. That's my most ardent supporter. I'm sick of not saying anything about that person and how they make me feel.
Okay. Okay, baby.
I mean, I'm not gonna say. I'm just saying, I don't like that. I feel like I can't talk because of one person that comes into your chat,
Yeah.
and that goes to all the interviews that we've done that I don't even know are existing on the internet. It makes rude comments, and then I'm just supposed to act like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't exist.
It's true that
because you like Sawyer and you don't
there
like
were
that
a
he's been
number
with
of
me for
rude
the
comments
last 4 years.
that I believe came from the individual we're talking about. So,
I just don't like feeling like that in my own freaking house. I'm done. Sorry.
no, but I understand.
There's more important things to talk about. I just was feeling like I shouldn't be talking because that person's here, and I'm sick of feeling like that.
Yeah. You know what? I think I could be wrong, but I think everybody involved could actually step up in that regard. It's a positive to if we have caused somebody offense. Um, to change that with the person we cause offense with, and that's part of it. That's certainly a next level way, and that's like a Jesus way as well. If you believe in the Jesus teachings.
Well, apparently I've caused great offense to that person because they like to tell me that I need to keep quiet and not interrupt. So
Right.
I'm offending them. But I don't feel like I need to apologize for existing or for being in love with you and being your partner for the last 4 years.
I know Kathy got a lot of flack from being part of this live stream. I witnessed it, and it was cruel. Some people are very cruel. It's terrible, and it would go on and on and on. It didn't have to take a lot, I mean, it's not the volume necessarily. It's the people that don't own up to the shitty behavior. The hurtful things and the abusive things to people, and the jealousies and whatever else there is, competitions. I don't know, the list is longer than I really was prepared to think about right now, but so I don't know what else.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have.
No, it's okay.
I
It's
don't want to
okay.
make it about anything
No,
other
I
than
know.
what you wanted to talk about, because that's more important.
No, but I'm glad you got to express that, because I think you've been really helpful to hold people accountable to some degree for the things they say on here or anywhere. If we don't expect people to improve in that regard, then we're not doing any helpfulness to anybody. And at the same time, I'm not saying I'm not like someone that has that much good control over my body, my mind, and my thoughts and stuff. I can see some things, but uh, so uh, each of us have our sensitivities, and I have mine, and to assume that Doe was talking about it on this tape actually that students needed to be diplomatic with their employers, and because some of the class members got lessons, and that we're talking about parts of tape. Let me see which tape that was. 249, right? That Kathy and I listened to today, and so that's part of the lesson that they, because you can look at the details all you want, but I encourage you to listen to the tapes. I'd rather have you listen to the tapes. Well, I shouldn't say that. Well, if we had a choice, I'd rather have you listen to the tapes, of course. But doesn't mean that there's not some value in giving encouragement to listen to the tapes. So and why? In my opinion, by showing the contents and talking a little bit about it. Because there's all kinds of, I was talking about it before a little bit, but I wasn't cohesive enough. The way that we have all these secret judgments and well, it talks about the demon's characteristics as migrates to certain ones.
It was one specific demon, babe.
Well, but this is from the tape blog, the way they wrote it.
I didn't want you to
I know.
confuse people by saying, because it was just
Well, demons isn't plural. It's
demon.
not plural. It's meant with it's the demon's characteristics.
Yeah, it's the one that was
right. It's talking about one particular demon.
That was attacking certain members of the class.
That was attacking certain members of the class, yes. So I'm reading the from the description of the tape from T and Doe. Well, not from T and Doe, but from Doe and crew. Okay, so it's tape 249, and it was first started to record it on 12/31/1986, and Doe said very little in that tape. Do you remember what he said? Because it escapes me right this moment. Anyway, but then he ends the tape really quickly. Says he didn't, well, he says something that's almost a little prophetic, actually, but I'm not going to go there right now. I can go back to my notes, but I want to move on with the point of the tapes, the meat of the tapes, or if you want to put it that way. Demon's characteristics. A demon's characteristics. A specific demon's characteristics, okay, are 1, migrates to certain ones. 2, preoccupied with physical health. 3, secret judgments. 4, blames links, dealing with giving up. Demon can't think without a house. Don't have to feel the pain or the unhappiness. Okay, so that's there's a whole lot in there, but and I can hear all the thoughts of all the different ways of thinking surrounding these words, and it becomes very well. It's distracting, so I got to be able to focus. So anyway, I tried this espresso the other day, and I didn't like it.
You barely even took a sip.
I know.
You should
I
have
just want a little caffeine.
You should have just made yourself a real coffee.
This is good when you're not getting paid for something, and you can do whatever you want, and you can sit here and babble for 4 hours. I used to do that for 6 hours. Well, no, from 2 in the morning to 6 in the morning. I did it a bunch of times, and then all kinds of variances of that. Anyway, so you know what? I am going to get my notes. Oh, okay. So those starts off the tape, and this is on uh, December 31st, 1986. Yeah. And he says, I don't think people ought to try to help people in partnerships or in special help sessions if for one moment they don't feel they are thirsty for it. Doesn't it do any good to want it when you are strong and then not be thirsty when getting it. In other words, when someone's bringing something to your attention that you've asked them to point out in general when something occurred to somebody else, and so you're bringing it to this person's attention, and they get defensive, or they get, which are all or they start pouting, or are so harmed by it that they have a recovery period, and it's like an argument, and so yeah, it's all bad vibes, right? And but those things all are part of the classroom to overcome. Those are human behaviors. It's the way that mammals kind of battle with each other and stuff. It's probably a carryover from that sometimes, and we do it with words and whatever. But the demon they're talking about here, Doe said later, let me see if I can find his words exactly. I tried to write it down, but I'm not fast enough to actually transcribe it. Okay, so that was there was a bunch with that meeting, that 31st meeting, and so then 3 days later, the 3rd, though it first talks about not the demon but the way that if somebody is delivering doing a task for their older member, and to do something or give something to somebody else, then if they're doing that task uh, with the same manner and consciousness and thinking on how your older member would do it, then they should be treated by the receiver as if your older member was actually delivering that same task to you in person, right?
Or information, yeah.
Or information, yeah. So,
Did you say as long as they were doing it in a next level way?
yes, right, doing it in a next level way, and that meant that you were cautious, you had discretion about what you said. You know, you were consciously thinking how your older member would express it, thinking about having the same countenance of your older member when your older member is expressing something to somebody else.
Not thinking about your own interests or ego.
Right. Not thinking about your own interests or egos, right. That's right. Or you know, not being distracted by anything. Because your older member isn't distracted by those things anymore. And they, because they are a greater mind than us by leaps and bounds. We can't see it, of course, with our eyes, so we don't think it exists normally, things speaking, right? But we do get examples in the human kingdom of listening to somebody talk and tending to believe them more than somebody else and coming to trust what that person is saying. But that's because I believe that's part of the human experience that gets us through the grades in school. Being open to hearing from somebody that knows more without having to, you know, have a degree to prove it. Because knowing more isn't just a matter of, you know, gathering information. Because we know that computers can do that really well, and they can spit out things faster than we can. You know, they make us look to shame with the speed in which they do a lot of things, but they can't drive a human body.
Or make one.
Or make one, right. So artificial intelligence is a lot said about, I don't know, it's good for science fiction. I mean, not that it's happening, you know, sure it's happening all around us. I'm using it right now to make all the decisions on communications and everything. But, so, okay, so let me get on to the next part of this tape.
Did you want to go to the chat really quick?
Sure, thanks. Casey says, hello, Kathy and Sawyer.
Hey, Casey.
Hey, Casey. Any of you guys know any good cases on fair use and religious copyright law?
Oh yeah, I had Casey had shared the TikTok Supreme Court thing, and I read like the first 2 pages of it before I was like, well, I don't have the brain to think about that right now, but it is interesting as it relates to our case. But I was saying that I'm specifically looking for like the, you know, just religious freedom cases as opposed, you know, in relation to copyright laws.
As opposed to fair use.
I don't
I mean,
know.
we want those too.
Yeah, I don't know. Just anywhere where, you know, people wanted to share their beliefs and somebody tried to sue them and said that they already owned it.
I hope you could hear Kathy talking there.
That's what I'm guessing. That's why Casey was asking.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, you sent me something recently that to me was really good because it talked about fair use for Wikipedia. And I appreciated getting that from you, Casey. It's, and the other part of that that I liked was that it was talking about if once things become a history, and I mean events that happen in the world, uh, a lot of that becomes public domain. So I don't know if you can actually uh, if you could win on some of the things that we're being accused of regarding use of the Heaven's Gate logo. I mean the words Heaven's Gate actually, which I know thousands of people are using that phrase now, and so it's meaningless
Yeah,
to have a
thousands
copyright
have.
of it,
Yeah.
a trademark of it. That's what Rock and Sarah had, and they brought into the case. Because they didn't want us to put certain things on T-shirts. Anyway, that's a whole other ball of wax. So I'm not really wanting to talk about that any further. And not that you want me to either. But so yeah, anything you find like about that fair use and like Kathy said, religious freedom, because that's what this is. It took me a little while to actually think of it that way. I don't know why. But I realized that after I went through and I dissected the whole case, best I could, and tried to figure out my defense and my counterclaims, and I put all that together. It was like I think I touched on the religious freedom part of it, but
We didn't prove it.
no, I didn't have any
Case law.
case law for it. Yeah, I guess that's part of it.
That's why I was
Well,
asking for that.
but actually, the fair use was the stuff that the judge told me that I didn't provide enough evidence of, and he didn't want to go through my whole defense to find it. It was up to me to provide it, but then I didn't get a chance to provide it, so I should have provided that up first. Those are the kind of things you learn when you're working with the government, or
Well, when you're
the
not an
courts.
attorney who didn't go
Right,
to school for 6+ years and know all
right.
this case law.
And so right, so you can't. So what you say is kind of meaningless because they're thinking case law, case
Yeah,
law,
we
case
have
law.
to have case law, and
Yeah.
there's.
So I mean, you can't just use logic. Even though the judges do use logic, I mean they look at case law, but they look at other things and all the things that they can, depending on how good the judge is. But and so. Um, but yeah, working with that system. Okay, so then Casey says, Sawyer, did Doe ever define the difference between a demon and a booger? Could a booger be mistaken for a demon? Yeah, booger was just another word for it to take it out of that spiritual context, that religiosity kind of view of it, which is artificial, with the horns and everything, the devil, with the red devil, whatever. They are a red dragon, so you know where that came from. That's the one place in Revelation 12 again, where the woman is fighting the red dragon. That those images have their value, but they become what our images are of the whole thing, and that's an illusion. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I still don't know what the difference with that is. But I don't care. This is the way we do it. Makes sense more. Live.
Well, they filter out comments if you have top comments selected. I don't know what the algorithm is, but
Thank you, Rain Rot 355. You should be talking. We're here for both of you.
thank you. Thank you for that support.
Thank you for Rain Rot.
I don't
Positivity.
even want one person, even no matter how nasty and cruel and whatever mean things that they say, following me around on the internet, saying mean things. I don't even want that one person to miss out on getting any information from Sawyer. But you shouldn't have to be a jerk about it. So I've been fine with not talking or whatever, like it's fine, but I don't like feeling like I can't talk in my own like place where I live and with my partner. I still feel that way. I feel like I shouldn't be talking right now. But this isn't about me. It's not about me. So, but I appreciate everybody that does that is nice. Overwhelmingly, most people are. It's unfortunate that the negative stands out more. I think a lot of people that are online have know that though.
Yep. Okay, so the difference between a demon and a booger, right? It's the same thing. Just a different terminology, like I said before. But in this case, in the tape we just talked about, which I'm forgetting the number now. 249. 249. Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to describe the demon. See, that's important to do right now. So, the way that Doe described it, I want to try to find his words for a second here.
I hear things ice.
What?
I hear things on the roof.
Really? It might be warm. The warmth coming out is felt by some of the animals.
No, I didn't hear anything like that. I'm saying I hear ice and snow and whatever.
Okay, it's just going to take me another minute. Okay. Those starts off saying, says I'm going to skip to a crazy topic. And this is audio tape 249. And he doesn't know how to talk about it, he says, and any differently. He says there's a booger that's been hanging around, that hung around our class for a long time, and has made his way between about 5 individuals. And after the 5th, and the way that it would operate, if one of the, let's say the 5th one didn't tolerate them goes back to the others. It's an actual booger or discarnate, a living being as low as Lucifer himself, and that influence is destructive to countenance, to the vehicle's health, to relationships, to mood. And he said of late, the last few months, he saw this demon go from should I mention the names or not? Okay. I don't think the individuals I'm going to mention in the class would find any fault with bringing up this example. In fact, they might be really glad that it might be able to help somebody. Yeah. Okay, so in the last few months, he saw this demon, this living entity, this being, he called it. Okay. I lost my spot. Go from Branody to Kododi to Sunodi, the same demon. Then back to Branody. Then a time or two, giving a little energy to see who would listen to it, would go to work on several at a time, and seems to migrate to those 3 more than anyone else. He says, I can feel the presence of that demon at this moment and doesn't like being talked about. And he doesn't want these 3 to be uncomfortable. I've seen that demon go to Jimodi, but not recently, he said. It's gone to Melody on a little different twist, and go to Songodi on another twist that it can't do with Songodi. And I'll describe it some more. He describes it in more specifics. He has certain things in common, characteristics he can't, depending on certain others, individuals have certain characteristics in common that he can't have with others. One of the symptoms of this thinking is he makes the vehicle, the individual with the vehicle, very conscious of their physical health. Now that might sound like something strange right now. This doesn't apply to people now. This is what applied to them then.
Except for that same demon still operating on people.
Kathy said, yes, that same demon is still operating on people. So yes, I agree with you. It is still operating on people.
And it's listening to the tape, I thought he was going to say my name.
Yeah, even Kathy, when she was listening to the tape, she felt like when he was going through the names, she felt like he was gonna say her name, and that crossed my mind as well. I forgot to tell you that at the time. I remember that crossing my mind, and anyway. So, and this doesn't put down anybody that's more affected by one demon or another, because there's other demons. Okay, he was talking about one in particular. I mean, we all have demons, whether we think of it or not, however we think about it. But these are actually, some may have demons that others don't have. I think that's actually a true statement also. Like a caliber of a demon. If if all a demon wants from somebody is, or a discarnate wants from somebody is, um, uh, alcohol, okay, get drunk and get out of themselves, then they don't have too much trouble finding.
It's not going to come to you.
No, they're not going to come to me because I don't use alcohol.
Yeah, you don't have that.
Okay, so,
They're going to come to me.
but if you have somebody that's trying to talk about next level information, then you have some discarnates and even what they were calling a booger or a demon. Or, in other words, somebody that's got an assignment to stop you. That's what he's talking about. That's what makes it a demon. It's not that they have an assignment. Well, I think he didn't say this, but to Lucifer. These are individuals that what he said was to their God. Now, they may think that their God is the oneness of the universe, and that they're a part of that, and so whatever they say is, but the way that Doe presented it was that they were making points with somebody else, right?
Collecting badges, even, he said.
Yeah, collecting badges of honor. So it's like, wow.
They were doing a
So
good
the
job
demons are
executing,
actually
yeah.
trying to earn their demonship.
And the better they do, maybe the better people they can go after.
Yeah,
As
so
far
I
as
mean,
what they consider what they want. All of them.
okay, so how do we distinguish, define the demons? Well, whenever they're telling you, somebody, you have a thought that's telling you what you must do. Not telling you what's required to become a member of the next level.
This demon would tell them.
But telling you that
be
you have to
quiet.
believe in that. You must believe in doing that. That thinking is that, and that manipulation can be part of it, and distortion of the truth, and dilution of the truth, the real information about the next level and the relationship with the planet and how the garden grows and souls can graduate into membership. So, telling you what you should not believe is also, the way that certain factions have continued to go against anybody that would be considered to be a person of faith. They look down on faith as if there's not a form of evidence that yields faith. Like Paul said, faith is the evidence of things unseen. And so, like, knowing something is true, like knowing that the next level exists and that they're creators and they're way above us and they, but at the same time, that way above us kind of thing can be twisted to have us think that we can't comprehend their reality. When we can comprehend their reality, and that's what T and Do were all about, showing us and demonstrating. And Do dealt with the same demon that he was talking about in this tape. And he says that demon doesn't really have much to say to him. I mean, he's not bothered that much by it. I forgot his exact words about that. It was a bore, right? It was a bore now because he's been through it before for so long. And I can identify with that. I mean, I've been through, not that much really. And to be honest with you, I've had it very easy in terms of the amount of negativity that comes to me in comments and things like that. And So, but Doe was on he was on the firing squad of that. You know, he was on the side that was being shot at by the firing squad of the lower forces and how they operate through human beings. And throwing calling them charlatans and that were trying to deceive people and cult leaders and we're gonna all the things that. Well, yeah, I mean there was a lot going on. That's like I was saying before. It's sometimes beyond the reach of somebody, and sometimes, but they can reach it probably. Even if they don't reach it to certain degrees, the next level can recognize individuals that are doing their best. And just being able to talk about it like I do, that's not necessarily a great accomplishment. Uh, for me as a person, as a soul that's is growing, I mean, I may be doing a very poor job in that regard, but it's not like a member of the next level doesn't like dwell on that. If they see something that they did poorly, then they would try to correct that thing instead of making into a big failure kind of thing and going on a downer about it. That's the difference between what a member of the next level does very quickly when they're faced with something that attempts to bring them to a downer. And they may go on a downer for a little bit, but they may not realize they were even on a downer because, it's a matter of degrees. But I mean, I guess the anxiety would be downers, and but then again, you can grow from those experiences when you're trying to get out of it. Like when
the slides.
Oh, that's good. Thank you for bringing that up. He talked about how the way you stop a demon is by stopping playing the slides. Well, he was talking about sensuality at the time. And so he was talking about how his vehicle likes those slides, but he stops them so he doesn't see them anymore. And that you can, let them go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever the amount of slides are, the things that your vehicle likes and you like because you've gone with your vehicle in that way. Then he was pointing out that you can end up thinking to yourself that well, I can stop that now. I can listen to a little bit. I experienced this actually, and it shows where that I know Doe is right. When I'm hearing a lot of what Doe is saying, while I was sitting with Doe and T, I wasn't evaluating. I wasn't capable. I didn't have the kind of mind that was trying to compare it with other things that I believed or something like that. Well, anyway, that's another. That's where, in a sense, the vehicle was captured. That's where you have the rapture, which actually means the capture. And actually, the funny thing about that, which isn't so funny really, is that there's a whole bunch of people that are they don't know that they're praying to a space alien god, and that they're going to be harvested into the space aliens' presence, their souls. And they talked about this in the Beyond Human series, and it doesn't mean that they're dead after that. I don't know what they are after that, because the next level can bring them back if the next level wants to bring them back for a future opportunity to experience choices to lead away from being harvested by the space aliens, which um, which reminds me that I wanted to talk about the scripture in Jesus. But first, I'll go back to the chat because I know there were some things there that I didn't address. Casey says, I miss Kathy's coloring channel.
I just posted 2 videos. I just did 2.
She just posted 2 videos, he said.
Well, I did 2 live streams.
Oh, did 2 live streams.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to do one tomorrow, sometime during the day.
Old school Dave, don't let them live rent free in your head, buddy. Well, can I
Sure.
actually charge people for occupying my brain?
Well, and the space aliens.
How can I make money doing that? Old school Dave, we gotta get your heads together on that. Joseph Coates says, I've listened to your streams for a couple of years now, and in a weird way, I feel like I've come to understand your struggles as well and relate it to my own. It's good perspective. Oh, good. I'm glad to, yeah, cool. Any good perspectives that we can get, that we can benefit by. I'm glad it can work sometimes for others, what I do say. Casey says, anybody online these days has issues, myself included. No one is perfect. Right. No one is, I agree with that. $249 was a few months after T left her vehicle. Very interesting. No. It was
over a year.
Yeah, it was over a year.
I believe. Could be wrong about that.
$249. Well, I wrote it down. It was
86.
12/31, 86, and January 3rd, 87. Were the 2 dates on that tape.
And T left in 85.
And he left in June 19th, I believe, in 1985.
We did just get done listening to the tapes after T leaves. That's like 220 and up, I believe. They're very interesting.
So Ben Raw says, hi Sawyer, can one still reach the next level today? Additional question, is there an opportunity to expand upon the Heaven's Gate visual lexicon? The website is so beautiful for its time, but I am curious if the visuals of Heaven's Gate could be expanded. Well, I think yes, somebody can reach the next level today. I don't know if they could do it at this very moment, but I guess it's possible. It's not up to me. It's not, it's not. It's up to T and Do and their crew, who they bring into their environment or save the souls of for a future opportunity. So somebody could, right, today could die, and the next level could look at what they did in their life, and like the way they talk about it, in the religious context, meeting God, so to speak, and determine that, okay, that's an individual that can be saved in this bucket, you know, this compartment, or this environment, to be given a future opportunity, or who knows what that can mean, and to continue to grow, because they're nurturing the entire planet. The whole entire human kingdom is being nurtured by them, but that doesn't mean there's a lot of things that are just happening automatically and are recycling. But they're producing spirits, and those spirits have their vibrations associated with the behaviors and ways of the living biological beings that create them. Anyway, so I got off the track there, but so your another question was,
About the website.
yeah, the visuals on the website. Well, we're not the webmasters of the website, so
Regardless of that, I'll just throw my 2 cents in here. Not that it's worth much more than 2 cents, but like you mentioned, the Heaven's Gate website is beautiful as it is, and it is a historical record and should be preserved as such. And I believe that's what the group wanted. I think if they were still around, they would have modified it as they were working on it in real time back in 1996, 97 when they put it up. But after that, it's basically a living memorial.
yeah,
I think a new Heaven's Gate website would be amazing, though, that had all of the tapes, all of the videos,
yeah,
pictures, museum. Like, we have so many ideas of things that we want to do that were restricted because of circumstances outside of our control. Money, rights, yada yada.
plus
But
we don't know if the next level would want that much attention too fast, if that was able. I
True.
mean, you know what I mean?
True.
So
Yeah,
the next level is in control of what happens here
that's right.
right now, and it's not a matter of it's just a matter of how long they're gonna give people the opportunity to grow in their own way. But to make their choices on what kind of person they're gonna be, and it's funny to think this, but I grew up with the Democratic Party being the party of peace, and the party of giving people food stamps and things like that. You know, and that's one of the things that Jesus brought up that defined a person, was that they're giving to others, and sharing resources, and of course of course that becomes complicated in a society, what that's falling apart, but especially, but and there's always problems at times, but I don't want to get into all that, but I mean, just the attitude of wanting to help people is, of course, a good thing from the next level point of view. At the same time, the next level wants individuals to gravitate towards becoming a member of the next level, and not fearing. Well, never mind. There's all kinds of demons, right? That'll present us with reasons to not do things that we feel to do, whether it's on the health level or, you know, we get a lot of lessons from the health and if we make changes and keep on trying to reach for the higher changes to make, a lot of times we get help with that, I believe. And we shouldn't assume it, but it seems to be there. Anyway, so, but in terms of what else about the demons? Every time I say that word, I think,
Is there more going
demon?
on in the chat? Should you address
what's a demon?
the chat?
Do you believe in that? Huh?
There was a lot going on in the chat.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, maybe I didn't actually say as much as I might want to say about what Ben Raw asked. He says he would love to participate in something like that if and when the next level may or may not dictate. Yeah, if individuals are asking for asking the next level for help, asking TNO for help, and wanting to be of service, that's the main thing that we'd be asking for. We want to become one of your children more than we are now. It's always going to be something that we want to do more of if we have that within us, even though we may go through periods of time where we're not in that thinking about that direction. That's anyway. I get off the track with that, but we don't know what the future can bring. If somebody feels to, start something, if they have the facility to start something, then you never know when that could happen. And then the challenge would be, well, let's say somebody thought some of the things that we were talking about in terms of having a website that provided all the information was something that they wanted to see happen, and they were bringing a bunch of money to it, and I didn't have the restriction. What would we do it? What would we do really? And
Well, that's what other people are for.
yeah, it's
Like if somebody has the vision of putting, whatever,
right.
I would encourage you to reach out to the webmasters of the current Heaven's Gate website, which are Mark and Sarah King, which is not a secret. I don't know if they think that it is, but it's not. They have given a couple
Mark's
of
come
interviews.
out here. He's come out here, but
yeah, he's talked in the chat occasionally, but they are the people that own the copyrights, and they fought tooth and nail to get the information out of the government's hands. And hindsight's 2020, right? Looking back on things, I wish that we were just talking about this today. I wish that I'd handled things. Like, I wish I'd kept my fucking mouth shut. And all the things that come out of my mouth, like cuss words like that, in the beginning of all this, before we got sued and while we were getting sued, that first 6 months, whatever, I wish I'd kept my mouth shut. I wish that I had not, aggravated, poked. I wish that we could work together Mark and Sarah, I wish that we could work together. Our names don't have to be on anything. We can do everything under the TLA Foundation. Like, it does. It's not about ego. It's about getting the information out. If anybody wants to share the next level information, what T and Do taught, or even learn it, you do need to approach Mark and Sarah and talk to them honestly and sincerely and let them know that you're reaching out and you want more information. They are the gatekeepers of that information right now, to all intents and purposes, in a legal sense. A website doesn't have to come through us, or, we don't have to be the architects of it, or they can do that too. Yes, it is true. It does appear that they have not done anything outside of maintain the website and sold the book. And they also went to great effort to digitize, even though I know Rakoti did that as well, but they did that too. The audio tapes. And they put the Beyond Human out and they pay for it. They, so they've done a tremendous amount. Sawyer and I, feel like a lot more can be done and in a different way, and that's what we want to do. And unfortunately, we went about it the wrong way, and we didn't give them the respect that they feel they deserve. Everybody deserves respect or whatever. We were not respectful towards them. They were not respectful towards us. They were not treating us in a next level manner.
I don't think I was disrespectful.
And neither were we doing. I was disrespectful to them. 100%. I was disrespectful to them. I said many, many disrespectful things.
If you really want to get into it, yes,
you might not have.
In a sense, I was disrespectful
but I
to
was.
them because every time they would put something in a media interview, they would give email interviews with various people like Upvoted, and I don't know, there were a number of different internet, channels or whatever, not YouTube though, but and when I would read it and I would see things in it that, well, frankly, I knew were not exactly true.
I know, I know there's been,
Yeah, so anyway.
We just have to work together.
I know. I would actually, I felt obligated to T and Do to correct that so that it didn't become misinformation. And so I didn't talk to them ahead of time about it. And that's what I might have done wrong. I don't know in that context if I did something wrong in Do's mind. I don't know for a fact.
Well, I straight up called them bad names and cursed them and said negative things.
So but I'm just expressing what my own sense of what they have expressed to me was they felt disrespected by my not asking that.
Oh, that's right.
Checking with them on whether those things said in the media were true.
I would say, though, approach them sincerely, honestly, with a valid project that you've already worked on, not just, hey, I think it'd be great if the visuals were better on the website. Like, have something already ready, because they, as far as our relationship with them, approach things legally. And agreements need to be made, licensing agreements to use information. So like that's there. It's a different way of approach, and we didn't approach them the right way.
Well,
anyway,
I wasn't approaching them in any regard.
Did not expect to talk about that at all.
I had the tapes from 1997. I owned the digital tapes. Some of them, 200 of them. Well, 196 actually.
My point is just,
Yeah, so Anyway, so there's a whole lot of history there,
Lots of history, but
and
if
and
people
yes,
don't
everything
have
can be done
history,
better.
if people don't have history with Mark and Sarah and they do want to disseminate the
Yeah,
information,
sure. Well, that's the other thing that
they,
I did
they
want
can
to
be
add
open
to.
to do that.
Yeah, I did want to add to what you were talking about was that this isn't about my desire to have the information to disseminate the way I want to. This is about the requirement given to all who want to be a student of the next level to get their information out
That's right.
and to be willing to stand for them and accept the consequences and maintain that stand until they leave their vehicles.
You know
However
what
that
a cool
happens.
feeling it is to be wearing this shirt. A lot of people don't comment on this shirt, but we have other shirts that have a picture of the older member on them, and tons of people, over 100 people at least in the last whatever how many years we've been wearing those shirts, have commented, "That's really cool. I believe in that."
Yeah, I didn't get too many beliefs of it, but
I did.
did you really? Wow.
In Savannah and
Yeah,
Cincinnati.
yeah, I know.
Like, that's
Yeah,
real. I know those guys are real. I'm
that's a
talking
good
about
thing
the
about
older
just doing
member.
food.
The older member that
We're gonna wear these kind of shirts.
Alodi drew. You know the shirt that we have with the older member that Alodi drew?
Yeah, yeah. I was just thinking
That's
about
what
something else.
I know, that's why I was
Yeah. Right, the shirt that I already drew. Right, which is of an older member. What an older member of the kingdom of heaven would look like. Might look like, I think, is the way they said it. They weren't trying to say it was exact or anything. Anyway, I'm not going to go through that right now. I'm sure you could probably find it somewhere. I think you'll find it even on the Heaven's Gate website.
Yeah.
You might find that because
Teeny
it was
tiny
given
little
to,
picture.
you know,
We wanted to get those images out more into the public.
yeah, yeah.
We weren't trying to like make a bunch of money, or it was just
I'd like to make a
trying
bunch of money.
introduce people to the next level.
I mean, so I don't have to work as hard and I can do the things, more things to, get the information out.
Well, it'd be nice not to have 60,000 miles already on our 2024
Right.
car,
Right.
but
Of course, when I say get the information out, uh, that comes with, it's a big picture, and the way that you would do it would be you would ask the next level to help you. How would you like? How do you think I can get the information out?
that's what we thought we were doing.
Yeah, and so they gave us all kinds of clues over the years by the way that they did things, right? And the way they talked about things, even right up until 1997, they were talking about having a light show with music and
Like
going
a
from
Vegas
town to
show.
town, huh?
Yeah, like a Vegas show.
Yeah, like a Vegas show or something, and having competition set up. Well, not competition, but a kind of
A contest.
A contest,
Yeah,
right.
but yeah, we shouldn't talk about that.
right, things that are showing that Doe was open-minded to doing a lot of different things in the dissemination of it, getting their information out.
Yeah.
It didn't have to just be like, standing on the corner, holding like people do it with the Bible, and they preach at you. You don't do that anyway. The way that they preach at you, you're not looking to, just, you're not saving any souls by just standing there. I mean, sure, it's possible somebody could come to the information and end up keep on growing and eventually even becoming a member of the next level. But the way the religions teach it, it's like a country club. And, as long as you buy into certain ideas and talk a certain way you get to go to some pie in the sky environment where you're in love forever with Jesus or Krishna or Buddha or ascended masters, or that's all a bunch of baloney, even though there is a reality to it, and that you can be with those individuals. I mean, not those individuals, but the individuals that, the ascended masters and things, because they're looking for having new members. I don't know to do what with, but they might have plans for souls to become, to take over vehicles for their agenda.
What's going on in the chat?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. So Ben says, Ben Ross says, I greatly appreciate you guys being on live today, and I'm fascinated with Heaven's Gate. With recent aerospace anomalies, I found myself forced to contend with my Christian faith in a new light. Sounds good. Wonderful. I greatly appreciate the info. I'd imagine the email on the website is still active.
Yep.
Yes, it is a Sawcat 575.
No, he's talking about the Heaven's Gate website.
Oh, yeah, the email on the website. Yeah, it's, well, last we heard, it was...
Just go to the website and click on the email that's there.
Yeah, contact them. It's representative, I think.
I think it's reps at Heaven's Gate.
Reps at Heaven's Gate,
I don't
that's
know,
right.
Though. I'm probably wrong about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, go to the
Yeah.
email from the website.
He says, I'm an artist, and I think Heaven's Gate could be revitalized with a new presentation of Tiando's teachings.
Yes, we agree with that, but like I said, just be very cautious with how you approach Mark and Sarah. When I approached them and ended up getting sued.
Well, it wasn't just that easy. I mean,
But it was I approached them very, like I said, sincerely and honestly because I wanted more information. And then I wanted to, with my own ego, I wanted to make everything right between everybody that was fighting. It seemed like there was this but there was contention between the surviving members, or the remaining members of the group. Disagreements, and I thought, well, if they would just meet and get into the same room, and less than a year later, we were meeting and in the same room, but they invited their attorney and things went south really, really fast, and then I was getting sued along with Sawyer and Carlotti. So I don't mean to, because I just said before, approach them and all that. Yes, do approach them, but just keep in mind that they have a litigious history, and if they say no, then listen to what they're telling you.
Personally, I don't really... Well...
They are the ones that we all have to work with, though.
Yeah, I wasn't going to talk about that. But I was going to revitalize... Right. Anyway, yeah.
But it's also, there's a point of, like, do you want to stay off their radar? Because if you do get on their radar and you are doing something with the logo or any of the imagery that's on the website, they will serve you with a cease and desist, and they will sue you.
Yeah, they will.
So if, so, like, that's what we were like, well, we'll just do it and hope that, but they sued us, so. And they went after our friends, too.
Yes.
So I hate to, like say, yes, approach them, but then also at the same time be, just be careful.
So Ben says, I've been learning everything I can. I can also build websites. Also, the website is beautiful as is, but I think the information could reach many more people. Have a
Yeah.
beautiful night, Kathy and Sawyer. I don't know if he's still hanging in here, but
Thank you. You too. I agree 100%.
yeah.
I think a lot of people have felt that way, and then it does seem that Mark and Sarah squashed it all, so I don't know how to feel about that.
Well, I'm kind of thinking of closing down the stream.
Did you talk about everything you wanted to?
Oh no, I didn't go to the Jesus
Yeah, I thought
part
you
yet.
wanted to talk about that stuff.
So let me do that. We are still ticking. If I see something else come across. Okay, so somebody asked me if I knew when the spading was going to happen. Now, to give a little background on that use of that word, spade, it's something that came from Doe, as far as I could tell, applying it to the human kingdom. And he would use that term along with the recycling of which I think primarily had its meaning as the end of the current crop of what we can label Luciferian, space alien, fallen angel souls. So, so in other words, this is the next level with their technologies, actually getting rid of certain aspects of the garden that have become, that they're going to have a new crop. That's what Doug talked about, of the ones that to present the negative so that souls could grow by continuing to pull on the positive from the creators. Anyway, so and that's all vague. I mean, this is all general terminology, of course, because what's a positive to somebody can be a negative to somebody else, and blah blah blah. Anyway, getting to that idea of a pulling up of the weeds, which turning over the soil. That's what it's doing. It's taking the roots. It's going to the roots of that living life form, those life forms, and turning it over like the farmer does in the field. That is what that word represents happening. So and so if you look at the you can read from USA Today where Doe talks about that. Let me see if I can. And my answer to the question, by the way, of when that was going to happen was I have no idea. Oh, actually, but then I expanded it and said that I believed it was happening as we speak. And Doe talked about that in the Beyond Human series where he was talking about how there would be spacecrafts coming in and harvesting souls. and he says that here. He says that the Luciferians are about to be recycled, annihilated, at the same time as the human civilization is spaded. See, so this didn't mean that anything was going to happen to the Earth, because the Earth, except for refurbishing, is the only way he talked about it. And it might be used as a garden again, right away, or it might be used as a base for the next level, and then used as a garden after that. He didn't claim to know that because he knew that his older member was intricately involved in those decisions, and that he didn't have that part of his mind and his older member's mind with him at the time. So, and then he went on to say in the USA Today, they know, talking about those Luciferians, that they know that rumor has it that their days are numbered. They refuse to believe it and are desperate to recruit souls from the human kingdom into their heavenly kingdom. Their heavenly kingdom in quotes. There are many counterfeit, in quotes, heavens. And each heaven, in quotes, is at this time collecting names in their book, in quotes, forcing a stand of allegiance, polarizing each individual's commitment to his chosen God, in quotes. So that's the context of the way that Doe used the word spaded. And so the reason why, see, if they're desperate to recruit souls, that's happening. That's happening at that time. We don't know when that's not happening. Not been happening. So to think of it as, a certain time, there may be a time where that's over, or it happens in a huge way, in a bigger way. That would be a type of next way that I've seen other things done by the next level. But, to where things happen in waves, more happens, and then it dies down, it gives people's minds a chance to readjust to certain things in their lives, and because a lot goes into the development of human plant life, human plants into members of the next level. It's not an easy process. It takes a lot of work from the next level. That's what they're doing. And that's where peace actually exists, on the next level. You're not going to find peace on the human kingdom. Anyone that comes saying that they're going to bring peace to the world is not coming from the next level. Even if they look like a hologram of Jesus, the way he's depicted by, made by space aliens. Depicted as being, in the photograph, in the paintings of Jesus. Anyway, so those are all things that you can hear talked about in great detail and more, in a better way, because you can hear it directly from Doe in the Beyond Human tapes. And all the next level information that we've had available to us and is available to other people online in all different places, there shouldn't be anything that you should have to pay for. Because right from the beginning, a lot has been given for free. most, except for the cost of putting a book together. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not like this is a moral kind of thing to not be charging money. No, if I could make money, then I would be able to do more of what I want to do. But maybe that's not right for me at this point, and maybe that's not right for anybody else either. So anyway, let's see. So the reason why I was bringing that up, though, regarding the spading, was because I believe that's being demonstrated by Jesus. That period, that time period. And here's what it says. And there's a little bit of context involved. But it's the parable of the tares and the wheat. And how, I'm just going to skim through it, because I'm not going to try to interpret all these words. But the enemy, let's see. It talks about, he says, the kingdom of heaven is like a man which sowed good seed in his field. So they're comparing it to a farmer, right? And the good seed, and then while they slept, the enemy came and sowed the tares among the wheat. The wheat is the good seed, and went his way. And so when the blade came up, when they started to sprout, in other words, the good seed, and they brought forth fruit, the tares were also growing. And so the servants said, so that's like having the negative growing with the fruit, with the, negative meaning those that are against the next level in all the ways that can be defined, which they're doing things that the next level wouldn't do. Killing humans is not from the next level's mind. There's other ways of dealing with humans that are becoming violent. And making weapons to kill humans with is not from the next level's mind to do. That's from the space aliens' mind to have weapon systems, because they don't have, well, they certainly don't have the kinds of weapon systems they want to have. And Doe talks about that in USA Today as well, that they're in competition with humans also. So they don't want to give the humans too much of what was secret to them about the way that their spacecrafts work and who knows what else. But maybe by now they've spilled the beans completely to some people so that they could get humans working on building those technologies and duplicating those technologies, or mining those elements that can produce zero gravity fields and things like that, like a magnet. So the servant of this farm said to the master, I should go gather up the tares. In other words, pull up the weeds. Because, but he said no. The master said, no, you shouldn't do that, because you'll pull up the wheat with them. And I'm not sure how to actually try to translate that, but as happening. But I'll be open-minded to it as I continue to go on. But so he says that let them both grow together until the harvest, And in the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. In other words, the fruit, the souls that are going to graduate from this human kingdom are going to be put into storage, is what this is illustrating. And so but the rest is going to be like, it's going to be brought back into a previous elemental state, I guess. I don't know if I made a connection there with the way that the space aliens are trying to harvest souls, and you see it like with. But I know from the beginning that Tiendo felt like anyone that could have been a part of that first classroom, because that was the context of it, were protected from the space aliens, like abducting them or making them into a contactee. I don't know how the space aliens learn to identify a soul. I don't know what technology they might have for that, if they can. But they can target people. And like Doe said about the demons in this tape, 249, that they are on assignments. And they get like a badge for succeeding. And they believe in what they're doing. They don't think they're doing something harmful to get them out of the T&O group. They didn't think they were doing something harmful. And Doe talked about this as well, that sometimes what happens is those that believe most in God are the ones that, or say they believe the most in God, are the ones that persecute and go after the ones that are the examples of the return of what they believed in existed. But they don't recognize it for various reasons, although they give them the chance to recognize it. But if they can after many opportunities they don't recognize the chances, then the next level, even if they're like screaming for help for the next level, when they're near death, the next level. Doe said that the next level's going to say, well, where, and Jesus talked about that too. You're going to say, well, how come you weren't talking to me before now? So anyway, there's I can talk a lot about this more as being the spading, the bringing up of the tares, pulling the tares out, is the spading. So they're no longer in the environment. And at the end of this parable, Jesus describes it. The seeds are the good fruit. So the seeds, the way that Tina and Doe talked about that, not referring to the scripture because they didn't teach from scripture, was that the next level puts deposits. They deposit a plasma-like container that, in the old definition, would have been called a soul. That actually comes with a chip, like a program, of recognition of the next level's reality in some ways and to some degrees, and it's waiting to be expanded upon. It's waiting to grow by the individual adding more of that true mind, that true information to it, and then applying it, and then seeking more, and then dealing with the negatives that don't want you to have it, which are those demons that are assigned to do that to some people. Or maybe they're assigned to do it to all people, and they do it in all different kinds of ways, using even censorship programs to keep people from learning the truth about things. That's when you know you've seen a society that has grown to be rotten. But the next level still allows it to exist because there's potential for new souls to grow from the experience of being in the hell, in the jail, with the space aliens and the humans that know about them and don't. Kathy and I were watching the inauguration today a little bit, and noticed, Biden and Kamala Harris sitting to the left side of where Trump was talking, and I had the thought that they might know that the reason why they're trying to take every dime that comes their way, I mean, not every dime, but the reason why they were so intent on steering billions more dollars into various programs is because they know the space alien threat is real. Some of them know that. So I pictured them maybe knowing that, and knowing that, well, Trump, you don't know that we've got an agenda that is above yours, thinking that they want to save themselves and save humanity and save the world. So they came up with this idea that it was through being carbon neutral, right? And that's got some benefits to it as well, and it can stimulate a lot of technology development. So it was pretty smart. And the space alien souls are not stupid. They know what potentials there are. And so they can get humans to build their technologies, because that's the only way they think they can save themselves. Well, that's the only way they probably can save themselves, to whatever degree that might be being saved by the next level, if the next level doesn't take them all out. I'm not talking about taking the vehicles out. All the vehicles are going to go out, I think, as far as I can tell. I don't think the next level has any need, and Doe talked about this a number of times. They don't need human vehicles. I mean, even if Adam didn't sin, that didn't mean that the next level couldn't have created another vehicle with another soul in it to go through the lessons that Adam was going through. After that. And Adam, the original Adam then who succeeded, would have gone on to his next step in service in the next level. So, anyway, but let me see if there's anything else on this, and then I'm going to call it a quits. I'll go back to the chat, though, for a little bit. Rights in June. Lost but not alone. Am I still blocked? Cool. It'll be cool. Oh, okay. Lost but not alone was asking if he was still they were still blocked. And I didn't know they were blocked. Anyway, old school Dave says, oh, he said, cool, I'll be cool. Well, good. Glad to have you. Lost but not alone. Old school Dave says, have a great evening and stay warm. Please keep y'all's eyes peeled for a message soon. For a message soon? Okay. Alrighty. I'll try to keep my eyes peeled. The only messages I want are from T&O. No, I mean, anybody can send me a message if they want, and I'll pay attention to it if it's got some value to it. Right, so good night, folks.